All right, how we doing, everybody? I wanted to do a little test here, rounding up a bunch of quick detailers that are popular on the market, with Tech 582 being far and wide the most popular product as far as a ceramic quick detailer. It's cost effective, but kind of what I want to see is what are you getting when you're spending more money? You get products like DIY Envy that is $100 a gallon versus $35 a gallon for Tech 582. Are we getting significantly more durability? I think we will, but we'll let the results speak for themselves. And I kind of wanted to, put something that are like the industry standards for durability. Gray Oats 3-in-1 is incredibly durable. Garage Therapy Sigma, that's a nice blend between a quick detailer and a sealant. I wanted to just throw another comparably priced product of Tech 582 in there, so that's where this nano skin comes in. And then something that I saw on Reddit, and I did validate it. Hot Coat and Envy have the same SDS sheets, like identically. And I don't believe they're the same product, right? Like, why would one be twice the price of the other? And a SDS sheet doesn't show everything, but I'm going to put these two up next to each other on the panel and we'll see the difference. But yeah, I've actually never used Hot Coat 584 Sigma. I've used all the rest, but yeah, so let's get into it. I've deconned the car. I did Labo Cosmetica 3pH last weekend, clayed, iron removered. And then the hood still had some hydrophobics remaining, so I actually did a little contact with Dark Fury, and that finished it off, what was left on there. So it's completely flat, it's all swirled up, ready to see if we've got some filling properties. So let's go ahead and get to the wash, and then we'll start applying. All right, I got the wheels all done, but I figured I'd do that off camera. All right, so I've got the Real U foam can in. I've got Armor Shampoo Plus 50/50 in here, so that's like a 0.5% panel impact ratio, which for like a normal foam cannon, that's 2.5 ounces, something like that. So I'm just going to do a foam rinse foam with this. Actually, I'm going to hit the front a little bit. There are some bugs up there. This is just Armor Decon. It's like 32-to-1 Armor Decon. So anyway, here we go. This thing's acting weird. I don't know. I should be getting more foam than this. I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's drawing fine, so I think it's maybe the filter needs clean. Seems like it's just not foaming the best, but all right, let that dwell, and I'm going to get my wash bucket set up. Got the House of Rags Wash Boss V2 in there. Let me grab my measuring cup. Well, 1.5 is all that was left in there. Should be fine. Okay. I gotta figure this out. I'm gonna put a little more soap in this thing. I don't know what this foam situation is. I'm just gonna put some more soap in here. We glugging today. All right, see if this acts any better. That's more like it. So this thing dilutes 100 to 1 anyway, so it's not like I've got an insane amount of soap in here. I don't know, maybe I messed up the dilution in that before, I don't know. To washing we go. I'm sure some of you are going to feel some type of way about me not using a 2-bucket, but with a pre-wash, even with a pH neutral, I never have dirt in the bottom of my bucket, so. I ain't worried about it. Also, this thing isn't corrected, it's not coated. Could have just done rinseless, but we're foaming today. I mean, what fun is it to watch a rinseless wash, you know? But really, Shampoo Plus is still my go-to soap. It just stays wet on there for so long. It just dwells so long. And it's nice and slick. This Wash Boss V2 is really nice too. I actually didn't really care for the Wash Boss V1. It was too heavy. Mine actually didn't hold up that well either. You know, I run them through the washing machine every time, and my auto fibers have been holding up fine, but Wash Boss V1 got all weird. I don't know what that was, but even in direct sunlight, it's still over here dwelling just fine. Still staying slick, still not drying out. I got a brush to finish off the grill. So I got this detailed image flag tip that I use. So there's a whole lot of grills in this thing. All right, rinsey. Let me go turn my deionizer on. see how the DIY drying blanket does. Yeah, with this, without blowing it first, and especially this hood being unprotected, it's a little much for this thing. It's just not quite enough towel. It's getting a little saturated, but it's fine. It's all spot-free water, so it's actually not that big of a deal. If I just smear it around a little bit, no big deal. So. Neighbor's getting after it. I mean, it did the whole thing. Did the whole thing. It's really not that bad when you do it like that. It just gets a little grabby if you're like get it sucked into it. But all right, let's tape this hood off. Don't judge me too much on my straightness of my lines. At least this one I can just go right on the body line. So, I don't know. Looks like we're doing more products, huh? Calling an audible. All right, here we go. It's all taped off. Got a whole stack of fresh Costco's. This hood's not corrected, so all right. I've measured the output of all of these except for the Amplify auto sprayers, but everyone else has one that's verified a 1 mil per pull. So I decided to add a couple more sections here, so we're going to get some extra products in. So I guess we're going to start with hot coat. I'm going to shake all these up first. All right, here we go. I'm going to do one spray in the towel, one spray in the panel. Tell you how I'm feeling. Very slick, very slick. Okay. Easy peasy on that one. There's no grab at all. I'm gonna go straight to the envy. Go right below it. Actually, I'm gonna go next to it. Okay. So that feels initially a little more grabby, actually. Yeah. I think hot coat is slicker there. Just initially. Okay. Very slick. Very slick. I think hot coat does feel slightly slicker. Okay. All right. We're gonna move on to the Garage Therapy Sigma next. Okay. It's all primed. There is a lot more product there. Holy. Okay. Definitely more grabby. This definitely feels more like a sealant. It's getting slicker. Ooh. Very slick there though. I think this is a product that's a good bit more concentrated. We'll see. It feels slicker than Envy. Very close, but okay. This towel's done. Throw it in my wash bucket. Next up, Ethos Resist. Shake, shake, shake. Yeah. Same here, a lot more grabby. Feels a lot more like a sealant. It does feel like it's slicking a lot faster. Yeah. Okay. That's slick, but that's probably one of the least slick right there. But okay. Flip my towel. All right, next up, Fine Lab. Okay. That's really slick. I think hot coat's still the slickest, but you know, that slicks up really well though. That gets, yeah, very slick. Okay. Yeah. I think hot coat and Fine Lab are the two slickest so far, but Resist is definitely getting slicker. Envy's getting slicker too. Okay. Let's see. Riots is next. So all right. Uh-oh. I got a bad trigger. Might have a bad trigger. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot there. That is definitely the most sealant feeling one so far. It's leaving the most in there. Probably the least slick so far. All right. Next up, Nanoskin. Not the slickest. Feels like it's starting to get slick. Okay. Yeah, that got slicker for sure. That got slicker for sure. That feels good. Okay. We'll do the ADS amplify next. All right, let's see. This is a very concentrated amount of amplify. It actually isn't the most slick like this, but it is getting there. All right. Okay, just had to make sure I was recording. Okay, a little buffy buff. Super slick, super slick. I think Amplify's got the lead right now. That nano skin's pretty slick. Griot's is not super. Ooh. Garage Therapy's getting super slick. Envy's super slick. I think that's in that order. I think Amplify, Hot Coat, Envy, and Garage Therapy are the most slick right now. Okay. Let's do the 584. This is leaking as I shake it. This stuff is like, the graphene in it settles immediately. It's really weird. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to do both these sections actually. Yeah, because these are going to end up being much smaller. Hang on. All right. That smells good. Definitely a lot there, a lot to it. This feels more like a sealant. This feels more like a sealant for sure. Slicking it up nicely, very slick, very slick. I think it's definitely not as slick as Amplify. All right, last but not least, the gold standard, the Tech 582. Okay. Definitely getting slick. I mean, we all know Tech 582 is slick. But, I mean, there's something there. I think, as far as application goes, I think Hot Coat has been the best so far. Like, just instant slickness. Instant slickness. This is extremely slick now. I mean, there's noticeable variations in slickness here. Okay. All right. So So those are all there. Now I'm going to go around the car and do an application on every panel. So this I'm going to speed up and I'll come back with what I'm feeling at the end. They're all on there. I'm going to go around the car and feel each panel and see what the slickness feels like. So starting with Tech 582. Glass is very slick. Paint slick, 584. More slick, 584 is more slick. I think the glass is less. The glass is about the same. Glass is about the same. Alright, then Grios. Not very slick. Not very slick. Alright, Garage Therapy. Super slick. Super slick. Super slick. I think that's, yeah, it's definitely more slick than the Tech. Amplify. I think it amplifies the slickest. I think the Fine Lab and the Garage Therapy are tied. Nano Skin's definitely not there. Resist is not there. Hot Coat's slick. It's really hard to tell the difference between Envy and Hot Coat. I think the Amplify's the slickest. Then you got Fine Lab, Garage Therapy, Tech 584, 582. Then Hot Coat, Envy. Then the Nano Shock, Resist, and then Garage Therapy. Or not, Grios, I mean. So, in that order. So I'd say the Grios is the least slick right now, but we'll see after a week. All right, so this is kind of my final lineup in how I felt the application overall was. Now I did two different situations. I did a very small panel on the hood with one spray in the towel, one spray on the panel, and then I did a full panel on the car, including the glass, with 3 sprays on that panel. And so this is kind of, you know, an average between the two. So I think the Fine Lab did the best overall, just as far as application went, like immediate slickness, ease of application. These two are really close. I think Tech 582 is just a little easier. Just it feels like there's a little less there. Slickness feels really similar, so we'll see. Maybe 584 is going to be a little more durable. Amplify, it just gets a little streaky, a little grabby when you put so much on a small panel. So like 3 sprays to keep up with everything else is a lot. And it's not the right amount, in my opinion. You should use less. But, you know, if the product is worth its weight, in this scenario where I put a bunch, it should be durable. So we'll see. The garage therapy, it was a little grabbier on the small panel, but it wasn't too bad on the big panel, but there's a lot there. But it is super slick. And the reason it's above Hot Coat and Envy is on the large panel, it was significantly slicker. And I think that was just because it's so much more concentrated. I think you could get away with using more Hot Coat and maybe more NV2 on the larger panels, but we'll see. We'll give them time. Maybe they'll cure up a little bit. But the nano skin on the big panel, it was definitely not enough. 3 sprays was not enough. So you can tell, you know, there's just less there in that product. It was relatively slick on the hood, you know, in that concentration, but so we'll see what the durability looks like. Resist applies pretty heavy. The slickness, it's down there. I mean, I think, you know, these 5 super slick in both situations. These 2 were a little less in the large panel. Maybe they needed a little more on the panel. This got less slick on the large panel, but it wasn't a huge jump from these. It was pretty close. On the hood, these did a lot better than this did. Then, yeah, the griots just wasn't slick, like at all. You know, it's should be the most durable out of all these. So maybe that'll explain it. Maybe it'll slicken up over time. Maybe it needs a little cure. We'll see. And I mean, that was a ton of it that I put on there, right? Like 3 sprays is, again, a lot for that. I mean, probably only need 1. But anyway, so I'll wash it next week. I'll record it. I'll get some hydrophobics. We'll see if everything survived after the first wash. I'm just going to use pH neutrals, Armor Shampoo Plus for everything. I'll get that dialed in a little better as far as how much is coming out the foam can in there. I don't know what was going on. I mean, anyway, maybe the water I used wasn't DI like I thought it was. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, we'll just kind of run through price too. So the Fine Lab is $85 for a gallon. 33 for the 582, 50 for the 584, 50 for the Amplify, 65 for the Garage Therapy, 50 for the Hot Coat, 100 for the Envy, 40 for the Nano Skin, and then it was 85 for these next 2. So, you know, these really perform more like sealants. So, you know, if they outlast the rest, then their situation makes sense. The Fine Lab is pretty expensive for what it is. You know, the Garage Therapy is kind of interesting with how slick it is, but it feels like there's a lot there. Like it, you know, it would get a little streaky, but it was streaking and it was still slick. So you could just keep buffing and everything would be fine. It wasn't a big deal. So I think it's pretty concentrated. I think you can get away with a lot less. And so when you compare these 2, I think Hot Coat, you need a bit more. But anyway, so we'll see how they go. I'll have links for everything in the description. Foam cannon, pressure washer setup, stuff like that. My pressure washer is a custom build, so I'm not gonna have a link for that. But you know, the hoses, things like that, my gun, all that'll be in there. So if you got any questions, jump in the comments, like, comment, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I'm gonna try to make some more detailing content. This has been something that I've really gotten into over the last year and a half, and I'll share more about that, but stay tuned for more. Peace.